say be more selective in the trades. I had great advice as a young trader, and so there were a lot of things about money management that I I took the advice of people and followed it, and it I can see in looking back that that advice would have been costly advice for me to learn on my own. So some of that advice is just get out of losing trades quickly. Try to hang on to winning trades, although, finding the balance between cutting losses and letting profits run. You can give great lip service to that statement. In reality, it's tougher, it's easier said than done, and it requires kind of a way of working your way through what that might mean to an individual trader. Uh, but I've pretty much, the things that I talk about now is, get out of losses on Fridays, get out of a trade if it's a loser for 2, 3 straight days. Uh, don't chase rallies. Don't try to pick tops. Don't try to pick bottoms. Uh, cut your bet size quickly if you go into a trade where my rule is 2 straight losing trades. I start cutting size. Uh, I think a key one is ignore open equity. Open trade equity and paying attention to open trade equity can cause traders. I could spend an hour talking about how many problems that creates a trader and why when they start obsessing with their account value on a hour-to-hour, day-to-day basis looking at open trades. I think paying attention to open trade equity is a trap. And so pay attention to your equity, graph your equity based on the sequential closing trade rate of return. Open trade equity doesn't belong to you or I anyway, so why obsess over it? It's not ours. It's not ours till we close the trade. How we close trades is really what's important. Uh, uh, an example I get is you might have a futures position where on a per contract basis, you're up $4,000 per contract. The market reverses sharply one day, and it takes away $1,500 of the open trade profit. You close the trade out. Well, I looked at that trade and say, that's a trade I made $2,500 on, because that's the proper perspective. But I know that earlier on in my career, I'd look at that trade and be bummed out because I had lost $1,500. Well, I didn't lose $1,500. I made $2,500. And it's talking to yourself, and it's recognizing what you have to do to be mentally prepared. A $1,500 contract loss would give me an emotional drawdown. A $2,500 per contract profit, that does not give me an emotional drawdown. And so it's how we focus our attention. And I think the big one is just being more selective, trying to avoid over trading and taking too big a trades. I mean, I can prove to you, and I've issued some stuff in the past to show where you start risking 4 or 5% of your trade, your capital per trade, destined to blow out. So.